Man, all right. money. Thank you. The main reason I did it because you can see those.
2 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not.
Peace and blessings, everybody. We are here.
Yes, sir. After a 3-week hiatus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are
celebrating
here.
The 10-year anniversary of Black Westchester and the People Before Politics radio show. The first of the anniversary issues is out right now with Rob Benjamin on the cover. The second edition of the 10-year anniversary editions comes out October 4th. Deadline for advertising is the 27th. Get your ads and your money in. Some of y'all missed the last issue and said, "Oh, I missed it." Nope, you didn't miss it. We're celebrating over the next couple of issues. This issue comes out October 4th. Shout out to Rod Benjamin, his family, his moms.
Yes.
He scored. Black Westchester scored an exclusive interview with Rod Benjamin's mom and coach in Paris right after he won over the phone. Exclusive. Black Westchester got that exclusive. Thanks to my homegirl Brenda L. Crump, who worked a lot with the coach, and she set that up. So shout out to her.
Shout out to Brenda Crump.
Mount Vernon celebrated him well. Shout out to Charlie Stern, said, "You're back." Monday they celebrated Rod Benjamin. They did a big motorcade throughout Mount Vernon and had a big thing at Memorial Field, Tuesday actually, and had a big thing at Memorial Field and renamed the front of Memorial Field the Rod Benjamin Plaza. And I think they renamed the high school track after him. And it was cool. And the coolest thing is we had the paper out there and people wanted his autograph, and he signed over 100, the front cover of Black Westchester with him on it for people. He signed over 100 copies. I mean, it was real cool. So shout out to him. Shout out to Tyree Woodson Samuel, who just celebrated his 32nd birthday. He had a party the other night. It was real cool. He brought everybody out. Former Deputy Commissioner of Westchester Corrections, Louis Molina, was there. Anybody was there. It was a cool thing. What else happened this weekend? We had the watch party this weekend for the debate at various places. I went to the one that the United Black Clergy did at Friendship Baptist Church. There's over 200 people there. This has been a very, very, very busy week. And lastly, shout out to my man Willow, my cousin. His mom passed, my Aunt Diane. They had the funeral Friday at Greater Centennial. So a lot of family. Everybody in Mount Vernon knows Willow and Shaquem, the Davenports. So shout out to them. Our condolences and all that good stuff. Yes.
Yes.
I want to get all of that in while I can think about it.
Yeah. Big shout out to the Deltas.
Oh yes, can't forget the Deltas. Yes,
for inviting us to their health and wellness event where they was talking about climate change and allowed us to set up a booth there and sell some products. And we definitely appreciate it. People took papers, and that was a great thing. And they bought some books, they bought some vitamins. We had great conversations. So big shout out to the Deltas. Shout out to Captain Krista, man. Yeah, she's Captain.
Yeah, they said Captain.
Captain Krista. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Captain Krista, man. Big shout out to her.
Female captain, Mount Vernon?
She was the first.
Yes. She's been the first of a couple. She's a couple first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she's doing great work out there dealing with mental health and
I'm gonna bring my light closer. Keep talking.
A department on wellness, and that's what, let me tell you, that's what community needs. Our community, especially Black communities throughout the United States. Policing is just not locking people up. The real goal of policing is to give service. The real goal of life is to give service. But they don't say protect and serve for anything. That's on some cars. Police departments protect and serve. And they have to serve the needs of the people. So when you have a police department that is addressing the mental health of their community, especially in the Black community, we're still not talking about it enough in the Black community, the mental health of our children, the mental health of adults, the mental health of our community as a whole. We're still not having real discussions about that because we do not see leaders in our communities actually putting up progressive programs, comprehensive programs to address and give aid um, to adults and to children. You know, the quickest way to have a broken child is to be raised by a broken adult. I'm going to say that again for a lot of people that didn't hear what I said. The quickest way to have a broken child is to be raised by a broken adult. And then they grow up being broken themselves. So we have to identify these problems, and that's what's definitely needed to have real conversations and comprehensive programs in the community. I know a lot of the stuff everybody says it takes money, but if we're able to give billions of dollars to other countries, we're able to give money in these needed communities to serve the communities. That's part of the problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to what's her name, Jennifer Lackert. She was spearhead
Yes.
some of that work where, because we, one of the things that you hear all the time, every call does not require a badge and a gun. And a lot of police officers, because we've interviewed a lot of the commissioners and stuff, a lot of the police officers are not trained to deal with the mentally ill. And sometimes you need people that are trained to go to those calls too. And she was putting together a division of the Mount Vernon Police Department that was working on doing that. And props to her. I don't know where it is at this point, but she was leading that effort. So I wanted to give her a shout out, because mental health is real, and it's something we don't talk about. It's kind of taboo in the Black community. We don't want to admit we have it. We deal with it, and we don't seek help for it. Seeking help, people think you're weak for seeking help. A healthy marriage takes counseling and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people
Right.
think seeking help is weakness. And men are taught not to be weak. Black men, you don't let them see you sweat. You know what I'm saying? You don't let them see any weakness. So, especially Black men, we hold on to that. An unhealthy Black men in a community is unhealthy community. Point blank. Period. You know what I'm saying? So, and like you said, leads to unhealthy children. So,
Right.
something we got to deal with more. And Damon has several books on it. And I just wanted to plug. Some people don't have money to take out ads. They don't have anything to advertise. And sometimes they make donations, but they also want to know how they can support. One of the biggest things you do is support by buying our books. I have 3 books out. Damon has a lot of books on health and wellness and Black mental health and all of that. And I urge everybody to check out those books. All our books are available on Amazon. Damon got a website coming up soon. Plus, he got a line of vitamins and supplements. And I think he got some skincare stuff coming. So you'll see all of that on his website. But that's another way to support Black Westchester, us individually, to keep us going to do what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Buying our books and the products that we release. In addition to your donations, which we greatly appreciate, and all your advertising. And I want to say it one last time: your donations, your advertising help us keep the paper free for the people. If you notice, you go to Low HUD, you go to the website, you can read a couple of articles for free, and then after that, you got to pay for the monthly subscription. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get to see. And sometimes they hold some of the good stuff behind the subscribed. You have to be a subscriber to read that. And the same things goes for other things. And so we keep the newspaper. There's no paywall for the website, and even the show is free for the people, so the people could get the information. But that's only possible with your donations and with your advertising. So as we celebrate our 10-year anniversary, we stay 10 years later, keep it coming so we can keep doing what it is that we do.
Right. 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 I
Shout out to
think.
my man Monty Whitaker and Prince George County, Maryland, who's watching. Tanya Leon, who's watching from Georgia. Bunch of people is hitting me, texting me, I'm watching. Congratulations and all that good stuff. So I just want to give some.
Yeah, I think it's very important, man, that we, there's no other time but now, man, for Black people to actually build legacies and businesses. I think we have to do it, man. There's no other way to do it. I've been putting together an article discussing the need for Black people to really focus on not just generational wealth, but serving our own communities, because we have allowed other people to serve us, and it's remarkable how we are not, as a people in the whole, we're not capitalizing um, on businesses. Just let's just look at the hair care, right? 90% of ethnic hair care market is 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 Black Americans. 90%.
And we get it from Koreans and other places.
And we only own 35% of the market.
I'm surprised we own that. I didn't know we owned that much, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. We own 35. We own 35% of the market. I
And we
mean,
spend we spend trillions of dollars on
right,
healthcare, hair, and all of that stuff. We spend billions,
right,
trillions of dollars on that.
right. And we spend 52%. We're 52% compared to 26% of the general population who love to shop.
You know what? And this is going to be very unpopular. We're going to lose some people here.
I don't care.
No, but listen. So when we were segregated and when we couldn't drink from the white water fountains and we couldn't go to the white doctors and we couldn't go to white restaurants, we created our own thing. And
Absolutely.
we supported each other, and we went to the Black doctors and we went to the Black pharmacists and we went to the Black supermarkets. And part of ending segregation wasn't for our right to be able to drink with a white man. They realized how much money we were spending and keeping in house and supporting our own by getting rid of segregation was getting that money. And ever since the end of segregation, for some reason, we felt like, okay, now we can shop where the white man shop. We lost that in supporting each other. We lost that in recycling our Black dollar. Yeah, it's good to have the freedom to go anywhere and to shop anywhere, which we still have problems because they still, certain places, they follow you around and they treat you a certain kind of way. But we lost that support of our own. And we had communities like Black Wall Street that was self-contained. You know what I'm saying? They were thriving and self-contained. And that's the most historic one, but we had several communities like that. And the end of segregation was a way of killing that. And we stopped supporting ourselves because we felt like, oh, now we can go to the restaurant where the white people go. And we start giving our money away. And it's been downhill ever since. And we do not support our Black businesses. We do not, we got Black businesses in the community, smaller businesses. Sometimes the prices might be more because they're smaller, so they pay more for the stuff. They don't have, them large chains where they buy so much stuff, they buy it cheaper.
Right.
But we don't support our own. And some of the problems we're having is self-inflicted. We talk about who's going to be in the White House and who's here and who's there. But we need to take back control of our community and our economics. And we will have power to then move in political circles, because then those politicians and elected officials and candidates got to come to us to get our vote. We just give away our vote without getting anything in return. Every other group of people, they come to them and see what they want to get the vote. We give away our vote and then we complain afterwards like, oh, you're not giving us nothing. We didn't demand nothing before. And a lot of that has to do with economics. That's what Rashad used to come on our show before he did Earn Your Leisure. All the things we used to talk about, he said, all those things are great, but you can't do none of that without money. And we have to have our own money. We have to control our own money. We have to support our own. We have to build so we can make those kind of moves like other people do instead of complaining that groups like APAC spent $20 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that was wrong. But, we need to learn from them. And we need to spend money where our interests are. So I just want to say all that. Like segregation was definitely, which is considered a positive thing. It wasn't done for our benefit. It was done to get our economics to support their economy. You know what I'm saying? We are, and then from that point, they kept us as consumers as opposed to producers. Once we get back to being producers, we can control more.
But we're still segregated.
Oh well, we're still segregated, but we're
We're
an
still segregated.
illusion that we can shop where the white man shop, and we can spend our money at the white store and all of that, and that's what we do. We making everybody else rich.
But we're
As
still,
opposed to
but
workers.
no. Living even community wise,
Oh, absolutely.
we are
We're
still
segregated.
segregated. We're
That's what I
not.
said. That's what I
There's
said. The
no,
illusion of the
right,
end of segregation. The
right.
illusion.
There's no inclusion. We're still
Right.
segregated.
They just want your money. They don't want you.
Even
Basically,
even those who think that they have a lot of money, you're still segregated.
they get their nigga wake up call. Who was that reporter who said something happened to his son? And he said he moved his family to a good community, and then something happened. He said, "I didn't think it could happen here. You
Right.
still black. You still black.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
they still don't want you living in certain places." Part of what's going on in Mamaroneck, when we did that Mamaroneck thing, they outpriced. If you can't afford that, they don't want you there. They do not want people that don't have a certain amount of money, black people, living there. And they do it by outpricing us. And that's what the whole affordable housing thing was about. They
Right.
don't want affordable housing to bring more of us there. They don't want you there.
No, and these communities put laws in place like you can't have multiple family dwellings, right? So these little white communities in Westchester put these kind of laws in place to keep people out, and that was the argument with the segregation lawsuit or against Westchester County. And at that time, County Executive Astorino was like the county can't force municipalities to change their laws.
Even though that's what HUD told them they needed to do.
Right. And they can't. I mean, for HUD, see, HUD was taking the easy way out. What HUD was supposed to do was all those municipalities is go in there and take them to court.
Right.
They was trying to force the county to do that. Now, we know for a fact, according to the 1992 African American Advisory Board, that they purposely moved Black people out of certain towns into other towns, and Mount Vernon in particular. Right? It's a fact. It's in the report. It's in the county's report. It's not feelings. We're not talking feelings. We're talking actual facts from Westchester County itself.
We may have to put that report back out because I'm sure a lot of people still haven't seen it.
Right. And what we're facing today is what they pointed out in 1992, and we failed to correct it, as community leaders, as politicians, as whatever you want to call yourself, right? It was a big fail, to actually address what was going on. And those points that they pointed out in that report, like the lack of Black male teachers, like police brutality in 1992, they were discussing that and the points that needed to be corrected. And even at that time, mental illness wasn't on the radar that much because they didn't close all these mental hospitals and mental facilities back then. So it wasn't a problem because these people had a place to turn to.
Every time something like a report like that comes and something like that, you can trace it back to an incident. The Rodney King verdict. The Rodney King, that was 1992. It was supposed to be national, the same way George Floyd is in the modern day.
Yeah, but that wasn't based on.
No, it wasn't based on that. But
no,
it was
that report.
It was an outrage. It was an outrage.
That report. No, that was an annual report, right? That was an annual report that the African American Advisory Board has to do to whoever.
So have they put out one lately? You've seen any lately? Recently?
Well, they said they one report's coming out about asthma on Wednesday.
Okay, right. I did hear about that.
You know, they have to do it. Those reports they have to do. The problem is nobody discusses it because it's never like really made public. You know, and when I was trying to find a report, because I got a copy of the report from somebody, and then, you know, times that, you know, you move and you lose stuff. When I tried to get the copy from the county, one of the ladies had the audacity to tell me, you know, that I couldn't get that report. And I told her, why not? It's paid by county tax dollars. And it should have been made public.
Right.
You know, so these are the things that, you know, we have to empower ourselves with knowledge, because a lot of times people are talking and they don't know what the hell that they're talking about. But it's rhetoric that's good for the moment. But still, Black communities are struggling. Black communities are barely making the budget. Black school systems are barely making the budget. Young people are not getting the jobs that they need to even have a family. So we have to really try to address this. We have to look at vocational training for young Black people. There's going to be 500,000 jobs in electricians and plumbers. And we got kids that want to be DJs and basketball players. Are you kidding me? Without even understanding, some DJs out here got full-time jobs.
A lot of the DJs have full-time jobs.
Exactly.
Unless you're really one of the huge DJs that's being brought all over the country, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing huge things. Most DJs have a day job.
Right. And then
or
I've
part-time
heard,
hustle or something. Yeah.
Right. And I heard Black parents tell Black children not to be a police officer. Okay, you just don't want to make 100 and something thousand without a college degree then. And if you really want to change the community, you could change your community with a legal gun on your hip.
The same thing with corrections.
Corrections,
you used to say, if it wasn't for corrections in General Motors, that was the middle class in Westchester.
That was the middle class.
And when we lost General Motors, we lost a great part of the middle class.
And that's what people don't know. The middle class of Westchester County was General Motors and the Westchester County Department.
In our community.
Right. In the Black community.
Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you, my dad worked for General Motors for 33 years. I grew up on General Motors benefits and all that, the UAW, all of that. He made a good living. We got us a house. He made a good living of General Motors. He worked there 33 years.
Well, you know, we gotta change the paradigm, you know, because I'm trying to figure out, you know, with this thing that Kamala is saying, that you will not need college degrees for a lot of jobs. And if anybody knows what she means, because I'm trying to figure that out.
I have to see what it is she said that you're talking about.
Yeah. It was something about you won't need, and they're going to push other jobs not to have college degree.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up before
as a requirement. My first thing is, well, what's the point of going to college if you're going to do all that? What's the point? And you can't force someone or a company to take a person without a college degree over a person with a college degree.
But like you said, that's why we need the trades, because like you said, electricians and plumbers and a lot of those things, you can make a good living off of those things, working with your hands, getting trained. You don't have to go, that doesn't require, a lot of those don't require college degrees. Jobs like corrections, jobs like General Motors used to be, a lot of those didn't require college degrees. There's a lot of jobs you can get, but you got to do the work to get it. And we got to take these tests. Like you said, you took the test to be in corrections. We got to know when these tests are. We got to take these civil service tests.
But these young kids don't want them. And either
the parents ain't pushing it, and they don't tell. Like, we used to be told there were civil service tests coming up, and we were encouraged to take these kind of tests. You know what I'm saying? If our generation is not encouraging them kids, a lot of that came from the parents and from the adults. If the adults ain't pushing it, you know what I'm saying, and the kids is doing what they're doing, ain't nobody. Someone from Georgia said that in some states you can attend trade schools for free. So welders, mechanical techs, truck drivers, CNA, LPN, a lot of those. In some states you can even attend those trade schools for free.
Yeah.
But we don't have them. This is one of the reasons when we were doing Black Westchester, the information didn't trickle down to our communities. And when we did hear about it, it was at the last minute or when it already happened. You know what I'm saying? So I've been busting my butt to get some of this information so we can post it. When these tests come, there's a park ranger test they take every few years. People didn't know there was a job called park rangers, and it's a good salary. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things our community doesn't get this information. So that's one of the reasons we started this, to try to get this information out to our community. Now, all I could do is give you the information. You still got to follow up on it. You know what I'm saying? You got to urge your kids to take these tests. You got to do that. But that's what we tried to do, because our communities was not getting this information.
No, because we don't build the proper networks.
Like solar energy, that's the new thing. We're trying to do something.
Yeah, solar energy. So but these are the things. These are the things that we don't get involved with, and then we get involved in it too late. When
we even find out too late.
Exactly.
So the test is September 20th. The test has been posted for 6 months. We find out on September 19th. Oh, you need to go down there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else they didn't put their applications in. They did all this stuff. We find out a week or less in advance, only because somebody we knew went. You know what I'm saying? And we finding out now after the fact, or we find out after the test was done, trying to figure out when the next test is.
Right. It should be a no-brainer in the Black community that anything that we involved in, we should have majority of it or equal. See, we have to change our mindset. Look at this election. Everybody's appealing to the Black vote. Everybody's appealing to the Black vote. Black people, we could change America. We could bring democracy. Huh? But there's only 7.1% of Black political consultants. Absolutely. You want my vote. You want me to turn out for my vote. But you're not reciprocating that into the economics of politics. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? We're still fighting for a Black-owned NBA team.
And the majority of the players are Black.
Right. I'm talking about a majority owner.
No, I said majority of the players are Black. That's what I said.
Yeah. NFL. When we make up the majority. So, we can't get it in our feelings when someone says Black jobs when 83% of the businesses are owned by white folks. And let me tell you something. There's more Hispanic. There is actually more Hispanic consultants than there is Black consultants.
I used to have this conversation in the music business. Everybody, when I used to speak to all the people in these music conferences and stuff, everybody wanted to be a rapper or a DJ. And I was like, yo, sometimes the best thing you could do, like all these rappers got to go to white people for as attorneys, as accountants, as all these things. They pay all this money. The best thing you can do for hip hop is become an attorney, to become an accountant, to become something like that. You do more for hip hop than trying to be the 100th person in your city trying to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
Right.
and we would talk and we would bring people in, a few black people that was doing this, and show people that this is a good living, the people that do that. And we have to, every artist, every DJ, they need a lawyer, they need an accountant, they need certain other representation. They all going to white people because there's not enough black people doing it. You're acting, you need an agent. You go into a white man or a white person. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough of us getting involved in the things that actually make the money. The lawyers, let me tell you, lawyers and accountants that work in music business make more money than the majority of the artists they represent. Like you have artists that become superstars, but that's a tenth of the business. Like there's 90% of these artists that don't ever reach that side, that status.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? They got record deals, and I'm speaking as a former artist. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, but the accountant back in 1988, my lawyer was charging $200 an hour then. In 1988, I don't know what they charge now. I don't know what he's charging now, but that was a whole lot of money in 1988. 30 something years later, they're a whole lot more expensive than that.
Right.
My attorney probably made more money than years than we did, to be honest.
No, I believe it.
You know what I'm saying? So we need to. That's a form of control. Becoming those black attorneys, those black accountants, those black people that represent these artists. You know what I'm saying? That's a living. You don't have that's the best thing you can do for arts and for sports.
Right.
I mean, these athletes,
Right.
they got white accountants, they got white representation, white agents, they got white lawyers. I mean, there's a few great black entertainment lawyers and do sports and stuff, but that number's not huge, depending on as many artists and athletes as there is. So it's like everything. We need to, a lot of our situation is self-inflicted. And we talk about what the other one is doing to us and what nobody want to give us. There's certain things we got to do for ourselves. And that's why I brought up incidents like Black Wall Street. Like they had everything self-contained themselves. They wasn't looking to the white man for nothing because the white man wasn't giving them nothing and they couldn't go nowhere that the white people were. So they had to create their own and support their own.
Right. Right. No, you're right.
And the end of segregation, again, which is looked at as allegedly a good thing. And like I said, we still segregated. Westchester County, even though they don't want to admit it, is very segregated and where we live and where we shop. I mean, there's some black people that got money and they shop everywhere and they live where they live, but that's a small group of people compared to all the black people, black and brown people that live here. So,
Listen.
Obama said you got to be the change you want to see. You got to do it. Like no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to give you anything because it's the right thing to do. This whole culture and country is set up for black people to just be consumers, not owners, not producers, consumers. And then they lift up a couple of people, and there's a couple of people making way more than everybody else is. And athletes, they lift up a few athletes to get these $100 million contracts, and all it does is millions of Negroes in the committee in the hood want to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said,
Right.
They want to be basketball players. They want to be a DJ. They want to be an artist. Artists is walking around driving cars they don't own in their videos, got stuff on that some clothing company gave them, got jewelry that the jewelry company came and put on them and took right back off of them after the end of the video. And we got kids that are striving to be that. And they're not even seeing real what's really going on. And that's all by design.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we still and we spend close to $2 trillion. And we don't understand. We spend close to $2 trillion. I put my hand up. But we have to really get into service. We have to teach our children not to just go to school, but go to school to create businesses. We've been programmed to work for other people for a long time.
And go to school for all these years and get into debt where you have to take these certain jobs just so you can pay them loans back and live.
Exactly. 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 Exactly.
Yo, we got a lot of people tuning in from a lot of different places. Some people leaving comments, some not. This is Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show. If you've never tuned in before, make sure if you're watching on YouTube or any of those places, you hit subscribe, you hit like, and you share. Um, Also, this is a community conversation. We want to hear from some of y'all. What y'all think? What you think about what we're saying? You got some comments? You got some questions? You know what I'm saying? We like to be interactive. So feel free to you know, give us your thoughts on what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Your input.
Yeah, we have to so, I saw and I'm trying to pull it up to see because I didn't know if the post was true or not. That France is about to move in on them brothers is about to move in on those African brothers that have united and wanting to control their resources. I'm trying to find.
There's a New York Times article. Many African nations want France out.
Yeah.
France is facing deep anti-colonial resentment across Africa, but has found a partner in Rwanda, which is embracing French influence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, France has
After decades of wielding political, military, and economic power across Africa, France is scaling back its presence on the continent as it faces significant resentment in many African countries. Yeah, excuse me, I'm doing this. My windows is open, so I'm sure you're hearing the ice cream.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, but yeah, yo, Africa, we don't talk enough about that in this country. The colonialization of Africa, all of these countries have come in and stripped Africa of its resources and built their wealth on the resources of Africa, leaving some parts of Africa impoverished and then under their control. Um, and there's people in Africa who have been fighting back and fighting against that. You know, they're usually made out to be outlaws and they're assassinated, like several leaders. And then we hear all these bad things, but we don't hear that they were trying to fight back for African control of the African resources.
Right. 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 Well, I mean, that's what they're doing. And I don't blame them. You know, I don't blame them at all.
And I'm sure the United States is involved too. I mean, all them countries, all them big countries, Britain, France, the Dutch, all of them countries.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
Africa start realizing the power of their dollar and the power of their resources, and they fighting.
I mean, well, all the all the diamonds are in Africa.
Right.
All the what they call the stuff that they make the chips out of phone, cobalt. It's all in Africa. It's all in Africa. And then see, and this is what I'm talking about. When I talk about not just black people over there, but black people over here, nothing would run. They wouldn't have music. They wouldn't have sports. Right? They take our culture.
Culture vultures, yep.
They take our culture and they make trillions of dollars off it while we get nothing. And we get a couple of Negroes they put out front for us to think we winning. And we're not winning at all.
We all ran to the movie theater to see Black Panther. And we celebrated all of that, but we missed the message of controlling our assets. They controlled, even though it was a fictional country, they controlled their resources and fought against all of those people that tried to come in and colonize them. That's the part of the story we miss. We just celebrated and we all went and made Disney and Marvel rich and all the theaters rich. And, we started talking about Wakanda forever and buying all the gear and stuff, but we missed the message.
Right.
Of that movie.
Right. No, we did. We definitely missed the message.
Especially cities like Mount Vernon. It was like the Wakanda of Westchester, like you said. Our elected officials have been giving away our vibranium forever. Not selling it, just giving it away.
Forever.
Giving it away to developers, giving it away to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that's what can you do, man? You have to
try to educate people. Right. But a lot of people, they under the inclusion, they're under the influence, they're drinking the Kool-Aid of whatever the elected officials are saying. And it's funny, we'd be fighting. What used to get me, especially when we first got started, used to frustrate me. We're trying to fight for the people, and the very people we were trying to fight for were attacking us in the name of an elected official who was misusing them and abusing them and misinforming them and all of that. And because we tried to educate them, they fought. Those are the very people, not the politicians that were fighting us who we were speaking against, but the people that we were fighting for were the biggest people attacking us.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to frustrate me till I got to a point where, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. So our job is to just keep putting the information out. Okay, one of them cars with that.
Jesus Christ. I thought they was bucking off, man.
Not on this side of town. You might, if the other side of town, I might have ducked. But it's like, but it's like we can't blame everybody else. I wrote an article. A lot of our black cities, our biggest cities, have been destroyed, have been decaying under Democratic rule forever. Like Mount Vernon, you can't blame the white man because it's a black-run city. You can't blame the Republicans because it's a Democratic-run city. You got black Democrats trying to politically decapitate other black Democrats.
Right.
Like you read about what happens in Congress, and it's the Republicans and the Democrats. We have that dynamic here, and it's black Democrats against black Democrats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And, there's a few white faces involved, but I mean, like, Mount Vernon is a black-run city. Black government, black mayor, almost black city council, black superintendent of schools, black. And it's 4 by 4 square miles, and we can't get it right. And 4 square miles. And for white people who look and be like, you can't give them black people no power, all I got to do is point to Mount Vernon as an example of that.
Wow.
And we're not trying to prove them wrong. We proving them right. And I said, I live here. I was born here. So, it's frustrating. We try to educate people, on their civics and their political power and all that. And, they listen to someone else and then they attack us. But then they come back to us, Damon, and be like, yo, you was right. We should have never voted for so-and-so. We told you.
I don't even get it.
We told you. No, but I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there because I heard that Friday. I heard that Friday morning as I was coming out of my aunt's funeral from people that were there, like, yo, dude, like, yo. And all I can say is, we told you.
Right. What?
But
Yeah. What else is there to say? You
you know what
know.
I'm saying? And I'm not talking about anybody current, past, and some present right now and future. Like, we tried to educate the people. We put the issues out there. If you don't listen and you don't look up the information, I had a young cat came to buy a copy of my book. He was one of the dudes that was on that Peace Project.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped by, so he dropped me off over to Bishop Edwards Church, and he was talking to me about not really knowing what's going on in politics. And I'm like, yo, my brother, you know the problem I have with your generation? Y'all have a computer in your hand, and y'all are less informed than we were. We had to go to libraries and encyclopedias at our neighbor's house because we didn't have our own encyclopedias. We had to look this stuff up. Y'all have the power to look this stuff up and check it, and y'all are less informed than we were.
Right.
Smartphones has made all of y'all stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and the last thing I had to say, he started quoting certain articles. I was like, yo, you have to really think about it. A website that you never heard of, that has no reputation, did not break a story of a national issue that NBC, ABC, MSNBC, nobody else knows. But this one little paper that the group that you never heard of, they the only ones who know. They the only ones that know. So you have to check your facts from verifiable facts. Hello, everybody from New Rochelle, New York. You are doing a fine job. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Eddie Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, yo. We gotta fight, man. I mean, yo, we gotta fight for what we want. We can't sit back and, you know, just voting for once every 4 years for your mayor and your president or whatever is not doing the job. I hear people talk about the school system. Very rarely do any of these people go to a school board meeting and complain. I hear people talk about the city not running good. Very few of these people ever go to a city council meeting and raise the issues. People talk about the county. Very few people go to the county legislators meeting, which is open to the public, and
Right.
has public speaking
Right.
and put the issues out there. But we complain at the neighborhood barbecue, at the barber shop, you know what I'm saying, at the hair salon, you know, on the corner. But what are you doing about it? What are you doing to change the situation?
No, you're
They
right.
said if you're not part of the problem, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, we've been here 10 years. We've been attacked for a whole lot of stuff that we said and did, and we're still standing. And yo, we're gonna continue giving you real talk for the community. Y'all not all gonna agree with us. Plenty of people don't agree with us or don't agree with us on certain topics. But we're gonna continue being unapologetically black and fighting for black people, even if they're not gonna fight for themselves. We're gonna keep bringing up the issues. But y'all gotta fight. Y'all gotta do it. I can't do it for you. Y'all want somebody who fight for you.
Right. Right.
You know, there's plenty of time me and Damon in the beginning, we went out to stand with someone in their fight. And then when the rocks came back, when people start throwing the rocks back, we looking at why we the only ones getting hit. The people who we fighting for. Like
Exactly.
we want to stand next to. We want to stand with you to empower you. Where the hell are you at? We didn't come to fight
Exactly.
for you. We came to help you fight and stand with you.
Exactly.
I got the bruise. I still got the scars to prove it. Like I can show you.
Yo,
Like,
yo, you right about that. That's like crazy.
so I'm like,
Crazy.
yo, we came there to stand with you to empower you for your fight, and you left, deserted us. Like we was supposed to take over your fight for ourselves. It's your fight. It's your
Yo,
issue.
crazy, son.
If you don't care enough about your issue to fight, why should I stand there and get the abuse?
Yo,
Now there's people that can't fight for themselves, and we will always fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But there's a bunch of y'all just punk out. You're telling the truth. I was saying the same thing in my church today. We must get involved in our community. Thank you, Brother Eddie. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, we don't get involved, but we complain. Complaining ain't never did nothing.
Right.
But stress you, give you high blood pressure, get you on all kinds of medication, and have you all stressed out and everything. While the people you complain about, they sleeping good at night.
Sound asleep.
But you stressing.
Sound asleep.
You stressing and got all kinds of health issues because of the stress.
Sound asleep. Sound asleep.
I had to pull out my Public Enemy shirt today, Damon. I was like, yo, I ain't worn this in a long time. Shout out to Chuck D, Public Enemy. Because in one way or another, I feel like we the public enemy sometimes. Like, yo, we the ones out here speaking the truth. Word up. Yeah, I want to hear from all of y'all. I know a lot of people. I'm getting text messages. I see people because we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, or they call it X now. We're on Instagram.
Mad people on X, man.
Right, we on X, we on LinkedIn, and there's people tuning in. I see y'all tuning in. I want to hear from y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do y'all have to say about what we're saying? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? What topic do you want to hear us talk about today? We ain't got no guests today. Today we just having real talk for the community, addressing everything.
No,
but we want to hear from you.
I don't know how to see the comments on X, man. I'm still new to this X thing, man.
Hold on.
I'm trying to see the comments. Nobody's saying nothing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You tuned in. We want to hear from you.
Nobody's saying nothing. But it's all right. It's cool.
I mean, I appreciate y'all tuning in.
Listen, man, we have to, and I really don't care who's voting for who. Because I'm going to tell you now, back in the day, nobody talked about who they voted for. Grandma ain't tell you who she was voting for. She just went and she just voted. It was none of it was none of your business. So all this foolish shaming, I don't know when we got to this point that we shame other people for having an opinion and having their own opinion.
We had someone come on our show, and they will remain nameless because they're not worth mentioning, sit across from me in the studio in Yonkers when we were doing it in the studio, called me a sexist because I wasn't supporting Hillary Clinton. Like, dude, I just didn't think Hillary Clinton was the best candidate. I'm entitled to my opinion. But I was a sexist. I was also called a sexist because I wasn't supporting the black woman, Tish James, for Attorney General. And I had to inform them I was supporting the black woman, the other black woman. I thought she was a better candidate. You know what I'm saying? But like, you had the audacity to call me a sexist.
Well, that's what
try to shame me on our show.
Right, but that's what it has come to, that they want to shame you because you disagree.
And none of them ever, and this is the key point, none of them ever told me why that candidate that they were supporting, that they were yelling at me for not supporting, why they were a better candidate, why their policies or anything was better. Nobody ever told me why Tish James was better than Alicia Eve. No one ever told me why Hillary Clinton was better than Bernie. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were just shouting at us because we wasn't supporting them. Because we supposed to bow down, and that's what we supposed to do, because that's what the Democratic Party wanted to do.
Right.
I'm not a Democrat, so I'm not one of them diehard Democrats that go along and get along and vote roll A all the way. Actually, I'm an independent, and if any Democrat that I am voting for has a third party, like the Working Family Party or the Independence Party, I vote for them on that line. I don't vote for them on the Democratic line. Real talk.
Well, they were having a conversation on CNN that they're
absolutely, my brother.
They're looking into the political analysts. What they call? Yeah,
the talking heads. Yeah,
are saying probably by next presidential election, both parties will be split. And I do agree to some point, because as I said many times, and I told many people, and big shout out to Rashad and Earn Your Leisure. When I was down there for the weekend, there were young, black, white, they were all colors, yellow. They wasn't talking about the presidential election. They were talking about generational wealth, how to
Economic
build
empowerment.
generational wealth outside of what the government has said to them, because that's not working. It's not working. It hasn't worked, no matter what side that you're on. It's not working. So
The people in power are never going to empower you with the tools to defeat them or to get from under their control. They'll give you a little bit of knowledge, but the people in power that you're talking about, they are never going to give you the tools that you don't need them no more.
right.
And we need to stop going to them for answers. We need to start demanding action from them, or we're not voting for them. But yeah, I agree. The progressives are growing bigger and bigger, and a lot of mainstream Democrats is having a problem. But the progressives are growing, and between the MAGA and the traditional Republicans, the division is growing bigger and bigger. So you're gonna have a couple of split-off parties soon, and that's the way it always been. That's how all these other parties came about. They used to be down with one of the other parties, and they started their own party.
And just think about this. You know what's crazy? And people that's watching, just think. I want to say this. I want y'all to think. We revolted against the king against England. Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember Paul Revere.
No taxation without representation.
Right. And Patrick
Boston Tea
Henry,
Party. Yeah. Yep.
right? Cause us a damn tax on a tea. Right? We revolted.
No taxation without representation.
No, listen, let me finish. We revolted because tax on tea. We are taxed on the food that we buy. We are taxed on our homes. We're taxed on our cars. We're taxed on our gas. We're taxed on the electricity that we use. We're taxed on our water that goes into our house. And it's normal. But this country revolted and started a war over tax on tea.
It's called, and I said no taxation.
No, but you're not looking what I'm.
That's what it's called.
I know what it's called, but look how much we're being taxed
without representation. I understand.
Well, it's not even representation. We're not even being represented. I'm not even getting to that, right? Because we're not. I'm not even, as Black people, we're not represented. I'm talking
That's
about.
The point I've been making.
The point is, we haven't had no revolution, and we're taxed on millions of things more than some damn tea. Just tea. They went off on tea. When you die, you're taxed. So this country has become a hypocrite in its own reasoning to even have a war. Because now we're taxed on many more things. And there's no revolution. Nobody's mad. Nobody's upset. And then they take all those taxations and they send trillions of dollars to other countries. While people in California are homeless. They have homeless rows, which I've never wanted to see. There's homeless people. There's homeless veterans. People that gave their life for this country. Black, white, yellow, or whatever.
I saw that in DC when I got out of the Union Station. There's a whole island right there in the middle, and they called it Tent City, and they were all set up there, and then eventually got run off. They would take they had nowhere to go. It was a whole bunch of homeless people, and they ran them off.
You know,
We got homeless people here. They don't even want to talk about that. Here in Westchester, we ain't even got to go to California.
Exactly. But what I'm saying
is, you go
is,
to the train station at night. If you get off at night, you see people sleeping at the train station. You see it. Yo, it's crazy.
No, it's crazy. But look at how the system works. Look at how the system is a Ponzi scheme to the American dream.
Well, we wasn't included in the American dream, so I mean.
Well, I mean, even if you want the American dream, you can't do it through that process, right? And even one of the richest men in the world talked about reparations. But Negroes is scared to even have that conversation with Kamala Harris. Real reparations. I mean, it's a conversation. It can never happen if the Democrats don't control the House and the Senate.
It still might not happen then.
Well, it didn't happen. I mean, look. We couldn't even get.
We got lobbyists paying off our elected officials that look like us.
Well, I mean, that's the whole game. We're the pawns. And nobody wants to have a discussion of the millions of dollars that these politicians get from lobbying firms.
What was that movie? What is that movie? Eddie Murphy, and he was the congressman, and then they called him on his past, and he said all of that stuff is true. He said, but I ain't do nothing compared to all the crime and corruption I seen up in this place.
I tell people, if y'all want to know about politics, watch that movie Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy. That was one of the best movies ever made about how our government is run and how it's damn near a sham. It's a Ponzi scheme.
Right here. Oh, there. We both hit the button at the same time. Right here, Mount Vernon, we as a people have to do better for ourselves and stop fighting each other. I mean, you know, one of the greatest things the enemy ever pulled is to get us to fight amongst each other and sit back and watch. Like, they don't even have to attack us. They just gotta cause division amongst us and get us fighting against each other.
Right.
And getting us to take out each other. And they sweep up the loser and arrest the winner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when I used to do parties at Club Hollywood with Sammy, when Sammy Z owned it, there was a big fight. We had a party like the day after Thanksgiving. And something had happened with some dudes from the Bronx and and one of the other cities in Mount Vernon and all that. They all met up at our party for whatever reason. This is what I learned. So the cops put a border 20 feet from the club and let everybody fight up and down Main Street. And they swept up the losers in the ambulance and they arrested the winners. And as long as they were there to protect the property, that nothing happened to the club.
Right.
And nothing happened to the businesses. But they didn't stop the fight, though. They let it go on and do whatever they want and let us kill each other as long as they didn't attack the property. They had a border. You couldn't get past them. 20 feet from the club. And then I also found out anything 20 feet from the club's not responsible for it. That's the other thing too. So they couldn't come after us. But that's crazy though.
Right.
They let us fight amongst each other. That's right. That's why I love you, brothers. Keep it real. Thank you. Yeah. Real talk, yo. I appreciate all of those. You know, we understand that there's a lot of people who listen to us and support us that because of who they work for or what they have in their job, they will never leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? They will never. They tell us later, oh, I heard your show. You're right. You know, but they work for the county and we're talking about the county, or they work for whoever they're working for. and we talk about that administration or something, and it's not a good look for them to leave comments. We appreciate all of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you know,
right.
we appreciate all of y'all. Because I hear from y'all in the street. I'm walking the streets, and y'all come up and tell me, yo, I heard that show, blah, 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 and you agree with 90% of what we said, but you can't come out publicly and say that because the person we talking about is the person that pay your check. So I understand.
Right.
Damon is a rare individual where he was getting paid by the county and was going after the county while he was getting paid. Most of the people in Damon's position in law enforcement that speak up like that, they speak up after they're retired. But Damon was one of those that was speaking when he was actively working.
Because you just had to do it. Because I was trained by brothers that were doing it. You're only gonna learn. A cub can't roar unless it watches the tiger roar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, so I had to be mentored by people outside of Westchester County, and when we started doing the things that, up here, I was doing the things that Eric Adams was doing, and Charles Billups, and
Charles Billups. Yeah.
And 100 Blacks in law enforcement. 100 Blacks in law enforcement and the Guardians from the city. I was doing what they were doing, having press conferences and speaking on issues that was concerning the Black community through law enforcement. I thought that was the right thing to do because I came up under brothers that were doing it, and
they sat there and told all the people that came up under you, "Well, stay away from him."
Yeah.
Hell,
well, that's what
Black Westchester. I was told by several high elected officials, "Oh, you might want to keep. I love what you're doing, but you might want to watch the company you keep." They were talking about you.
I know they were talking about me, but
they was trying to get me to leave and do something without you. And I'm like, we only stormed because we stood together. Regardless, somebody attacked me, you had my back. Somebody attacked you, I had your back, and we was always 100 with each other. We never let nobody come in and divide us.
They never said it in my face.
Of course not. They were trying to get me to move. Because that works on us so often. That's the plan. You get me to move, and then I get disgruntled with you, and then we beefing amongst each other, and then there is no more Black Westchester.
Exactly.
That's how they move. That's how they operate.
Yeah. They
would call, offer me radio shows and stuff, but it was for me, not for you. And it backfired on them because you ended up being on the show anyway. So you know what I'm saying? And the person whose show it was is still real cool with us. So I'm just like, you know what? I called you up when I called you right up and said, yo, they said this and they said that. You said, don't turn down no mic. You go represent Black Westchester.
No, you never turn the mic down.
3-4 months later, you had your own day on that show. Yo, word up.
No, you never turn a mic down, man. That's
But I came to you and was like, this is what they're saying. They're trying to blah, blah, blah. You was like, yo, no, you just go represent Black Westchester.
That's it.
A lot of people won't do that. They just take that out. And you know what I'm saying? Thinking they moving for themselves and they don't realize the strong in the union together.
Well, that's divide and conquer, man. That's what they've been doing to Black people since we came here on the slave ship. And they still doing it now. We fall for it now.
You can change it. They change it up just a little. So
no,
it's not the house Negro and the field Negro no more. And college is light skin against the dark skin, and then it was this against that. Hip hop, they tried to make it East Coast versus West Coast. It's like there's always something. And we fall for it, and we fall for it.
We fall. It's easier to keep us divided than for us to be together.
The most dangerous thing in the 90s after Rodney King was when the Bloods and Crips joined together and they stopped their beef. That was the most dangerous thing. That was more dangerous than any domestic terrorist or anything because we wasn't killing each other.
Right.
And for that little short period of time, we was working together.
Right. No,
and
you're absolutely right.
And when Kendrick Lamar had his concert and he had all of them come on stage, hundreds of them, Bloods and Crips, Bloods holding hands with Crips, Crip dancing, and Bloods and Crips working together, and they took that big picture, and it's a big billboard in LA. Yo, the power of that. They don't want black people using their power. They would rather him do the battling with Drake and doing other stuff and being ignorant or whatever. They don't want us using our power like that.
Right.
Because they understand the power that we have. So they, they got to keep the little distinctions against us, the little beefs against us doing ignorant things, making raps about, whatever. And when you have one that shows his power, that was the problem with Public Enemy back then. They was at some point too black, too strong, too real. When Professor said that, the label was like, yo, for PE to continue, they had to get rid of Professor Griff for the comments he was making about Jewish people.
Right.
Jews. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want, as long as it's rebellious and we buying it, it's all good. But when it gets to a certain point, they're like, oh no, we got to shut this down.
Right.
But PE kept dropping knowledge. It kept dropping, whatever, despite whatever. He never changed. He never changed with the times. He kept fighting. Chuck kept fighting and still fighting now.
Right.
You don't have a lot of brothers like that. What you call it, the testicular fortitude to speak truth to power no matter what. And most of us that spoke truth to power, they dead. You know what I'm saying? At some point, they just kill them.
Right.
The Malcolms, all of them, they just kill them. It's too much power. They got to kill that. They got to end that. And then what it does, it makes the masses not want to speak up. It gets everybody back in place.
You're absolutely right about that, brother. You're absolutely right about that.
They ain't try to kill us. They just try to discredit us. They try to starve us. They try to scare advertisers from us. Because they was illegally shutting down businesses, and nobody, no matter how much they support us, ain't going to put up their family business, you know what I'm saying, in danger because they want to support us. You know what I'm saying? When the city illegally shut down businesses,
Right.
But 10 years later, scars and all that, we still standing through all that. And until I got breath in my body, we're going to continue doing this in one form or another.
Right. No, that's the way it has to go.
It may look different. You know what I'm saying? It may look different. It may have a different tactic. It might not be this format. It might not be the format of the Black Westchester paper, but I'm going to continue to do it. I was doing that when I was in hip hop. I was fighting for artist rights and against all the stuff that was going on with artists getting jerked. It was the fight. I didn't win all the battles. I didn't win most of them, but it was the fight.
Right.
Sometimes it's just the fight, and the fight encourage somebody else to pick up the fight and continue fighting. Look at the Republicans. We talk about them. It took them 50 years to overturn Wade versus Roe. They've been trying to fight that for 50 years. They start putting people in place. They start doing all these things. It took 50 years for them to accomplish that. What are we fighting for that we willing to fight 50 years and continue losing and losing and losing, but we're going to continue fighting for? I want to know what's the issue? What's the one issue anybody that we know that look like us been fighting for 50 years for?
Hope.
And I'm not talking about fighting temporarily and stopping. I'm talking about fighting. Yo, they never gave up. They kept going back to the lab and reinventing it and redoing it, trying different ways. And nothing worked for 49 years. But that 50th year, ain't no more Roe versus Wade. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, we could learn. We complain. We need to learn from that. We complain about AIPAC. We need to learn from groups like that. Look what they did.
I tell people they got to learn from AIPAC. If you don't learn, if you don't learn what AIPAC is doing right now, it's over.
And how long did it take them to do that? Hell, they was doing it under another name. They had to rename themselves to AIPAC, and they came a decade or two, or how many decades they were doing it. They're making moves now, but they didn't just start yesterday.
No.
They was fighting for decades to get where they are right now. That's what we need to do, and we need to continue fighting. and then continue inspiring the next fighters under us, embracing them. You said it. You were the way you were because of the people that mentored you. You didn't know no other way.
No,
Why are we not?
absolutely not.
We not mentoring. No, we not mentoring enough of the next people coming up. Not me and
Absolutely
you.
not.
I'm talking about us as a people.
Right.
You're doing what you're doing. I'm trying to do what I'm doing, but not enough of us. We don't mentor the next people. Like, I've tried to mention. I'm like, yo, what we do? I'm trying to empower the next generation of truth speakers. It ain't gonna look like what we doing. What we doing don't look like what the people before us was doing. You know what I'm saying? But we got to empower them now. Drop some of that knowledge on them now. Do what them old cats in law enforcement did to you. Get that in you, mentor you. Then it's your turn to fight you out there.
Right.
They
Right.
stood with you in the beginning. They ain't had to stand with you no more. You was just out there. There
Right.
wasn't even a need for them to stand with you no more.
No, absolutely not.
And we have to empower our next generation, not just in this and everything that we do, including generational wealth, which is what you was talking about earlier.
No, we got to.
We have to teach them economics. We have to teach them how things work. We need to support Earn Your Leisure and organizations like that for dropping them jewels that they dropping. Yo, used to get it for free. Rashad used to come on once a month for free and drop the same jewels.
Right.
People wasn't trying to hear him.
No, you absolutely right, brother. You absolutely right.
But he found his lane. He saw what we doing. He created his own lane. He got with his brother, with Troy, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
They turned that into something else. And wow, look at them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get him all the respect in the world. Hell, he went from appearing on our show and writing a couple of articles for us to presenting us an award named after him at a local event, Men Who Dare to Be Different. Shout out to Kobe Jenkins. He presented us the Earn Your Leisure Award. He started working with us, and he ended up presenting us an award. That's huge. That's progression like a mother.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yo, anybody who likes what you're hearing, share this, man. We keep all the archives on blackwestchester.com. We know everybody doesn't catch the live show. Actually, a lot more people listen to it after it's posted on Black Westchester, or goes to YouTube and pulls up the YouTube video on the Black Westchester channel. Yo, if you like what you're hearing, share this with other people who need to hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, like when you go to a conference or something and you get that information, what you're supposed to do. The Million Man March was about that. Everybody went down there. What you were supposed to do is take this back to your community. The knowledge that you got there, you're supposed to all go back to your own community with it. You're supposed to spread what you learned. That feeling that you got. If you feel this show and you feel the topics we're talking about, share this with other people in your community and your family that you feel need to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, we're gonna call it a day. We appreciate quick and
thanks
easy.
everybody that's been watching. Please tune in. Tomorrow's Meatless Monday. One day out of the week where you just eat some fruits and vegetables, people. Let's get healthy.
You'd be happy to know with my new living arrangements, I'm having 3-4 days.
Well, you over there with Brent. You over there with Miss Crump. She on that. She about that life.
So I'm having 3-4 meatless days a week. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man. I don't have a kitchen, so I gotta order damn salad, man. I gotta order food, bro.
Well, yo, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. The next issue, the most important thing, that we still celebrating the anniversary over the next few issues. The next issue drops October 4th. You got to get your ad in and your payment in by September 27th. Plenty of ad space. And hit us at blackwestchester@gmail.com if you want to make a donation. Your donations keep us going and keep us delivering the news with the Black point of view, giving you the real talk for the community for free. You know what I'm saying? Giving it to the community for free. So make sure you hit us. Like I said, blackwestchester@gmail.com. Find out how you can make a donation. Also, that's how you advertise. Until next week, peace.
Peace out. Peace out. Peace out, everybody. We out of here, man.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to